They had, yeah. As you can see, this is my rather informal Rocktober outfit, and I don't know why I didn't even start last week, but with the, what I want to say is they asked me to do a little metaphysical interpretation of that song, the band, and I came up with, wow, really starts out being about being present in the moment, being mindful, and when you think about being truly present in the moment, no matter what it is, by the end of the song I realized, well, that when that guy who wrote that song, he was probably at a time of his life when he was experiencing that you of creativity, kind of you go down into your restful meditative time. You let go of whatever you need to let go of. He's come 2,000 miles to make that dock his home, and then he's at the part where he's deep. He's pausing. Sometimes we need to pause in life, where he's pausing, and probably. Truly, the guy wrote a song, right? So he was explaining a time, but then out of that comes this creativity, right? Out of the pausing and the being mindful and just being present to what is, whatever it is, especially what's in you. And then out of that comes the creativity, which is a beautiful song. And, I know for one thing that the band loves to play and sing and be together. That aliveness, that change, that creativity. So that's my metaphysics. We'll do the metaphysics on the second song too, but I'm going to have you do that. Okay, what I want to talk about is available spiritual support. This is really, really important to me. Available spiritual support. And when I was thinking about it, I recognize that oftentimes spiritual support is all around us and in unexpected places. So I wanted to talk about 3 of the unexpected places I get spiritual support from. Maybe they won't seem unexpected to you. The first one is actually social media, Facebook. There's something about my friends that keep posting uplifting, awesome things. So when I spend a little time in social media, I have a community of beautiful, encouraging people. One of the things I found on Facebook just a couple days ago was a little bit about the supermoon. Tonight's a supermoon, which means a full moon. It's a little bit scientific. That is to say, it's the full moon has to come within 641,000 miles of our planet, as measured from the centers of the moon and the Earth, in order to be considered a supermoon. And 2016 has had 6 supermoons, so there's actually going to be 3 in a row. One in October, today, one in November 4th, and one in December 14th. So if you like that kind of thing, that's fun to me. And the other, I continued to read about a supermoon, and this person who posted the article, it was a little bit about astrology. It's nothing that I know much about, but when I read this, I thought, well, this is good advice to anybody. Astrologically speaking, if you harness the energy of the supermoon shift and embrace it in a positive light, then good changes will come your way, right? And this person who wrote this article said, here's the basic and best things this full moon in Aries has to offer. I'll give you a little bit of this because I think it's cool. It's a time to heal. Okay? So the energies that are around now, it's a time to heal. Whether your wounds are physical, mental, conscious, or unconscious, focus on healing them. Always good advice. It's an opportunity to move onward and up in our lives. I don't know about you, but I've really been feeling that wonderful energy that happens in the fall sometimes about when a shift happens. And maybe it has to do with all of us who started school in the fall. It's like fall always feels more like the new year to me than January. So new year. Time to move onward and upward. Hey, it says many of us will come across exciting new opportunities that weren't even possible, let alone available to us. I think I'm going to go over here. Oh, I'm going to turn this off. Oh, it's off. It's off. Who knows? Okay. It's because I'm vibrating so much. Seriously. Oh my God. What do you think it is? Nobody knows. It's the vibration. All right. It's a perfect time to act. With the moon being in Aries, I think I might just switch. I'm just going to, it gets all caught and everything. The last couple of things that I want to talk about. How's that sound-wise, you guys? All right. It's a perfect time to act. It's a perfect time to break free of toxic people in your life. Man, that's always a good time. It's a perfect time to be conscious and aware of your ego. And overall, the shift in energy accompanying the October supermoon will be overwhelmingly positive. Whatever you believe about astrology, that's all good advice. And each of those things had a special spiritual message to me. So what I'm saying is there's some spiritual advice, okay? Or some spiritual support, available spiritual support. Here's another unexpected spiritual support. It's that guy in the booth up there. Well, there's two of them. They're both supportive, but I'm going to talk about Roland, who is my husband. Roland is an amazing font of wisdom for me. Mostly because he knows me. I mean, he really knows me, so he knows my baloney, so to speak. But the most important thing he does for me is he knows my true self. He really looks at me, I know it's a miracle, and he can see the Christ. And I can feel that he sees the Christ in me, as I do in him. We've done a lot of spiritual work together and separate, and one of the first things we did together was we both studied A Course in Miracles. And we made a rule right away that neither one of us could quote the Course of Miracles to each other. Like, oh, are you projecting, or you know, are you choosing fear instead of love, or any number of good pithy quotes. We made that agreement that we weren't allowed to use it in that way. But the way we use it is we use it on ourselves and in the presence of the other person. And as I get further along in the talk, there's going to be some more things that Roland showed me, some spiritual enlightenment. The third thing I want to talk about is the spiritual teacher or teachers that I've encountered this month. I just got back from the Unity South Central Regional Conference. I'm on the board. There's 10 states that are in our region, and we have a board, and we provide it's like a subsection of the Unity Worldwide Ministries, and we get together. We have youth workers that we pay, a consultant, and we have a conference, and the board is now setting up
a peer support. You don't know. A peer support group. Anyway, I was at the conference, and we were lucky enough to have the keynote speaker, Paul Selig. Paul Selig's spoken in Des Moines, and a lot of people like to study him. He's a teacher. Here's why he's special to me. He starts every session. Oh, got it. I think so. Maybe that was it. We will find out. Anyway, Paul Selig starts every session with the prayer for protection. He's been doing his spiritual work since the 80s, and he starts every session with the prayer for protection. And everything I've read from him or heard from his mouth, because I check everybody out, has been truth. In fact, he reminds me a lot of the kind of truth I hear from A Course in Miracles, which resonates with me. Here's one thing he said. You are the first in a generation of conscious beings coming into form, and you will make it possible for those that follow to exist more easily in the higher frequencies that are now available. It means us, okay, you. This is a gift, but this is a massive change. It's a tidal wave of light ascending into you as you ascend into it. He's talking about the Christ vibration, right? The message is about the Christ vibration, not the person of Jesus Christ or any individual spiritual teacher, but the Christ vibration, which is what we talk about in Unity all the time. That's one of the things we talk about, that we are the Christ. And it is not that we are a person. We do not turn into Jesus. It is that we, well, I guess it wasn't that we are... You know, if this was actually Halloween, I would. Interesting. So, I am talking about vibration and sound and frequency. So there's just everything in the world is vibration and sound and frequency, and there's a good example. Roland likes to joke about I can sit by a computer and something just happens to it. And it does seem like sometimes if I just touch it, it goes a little kablooey. I'm going to call that interesting. Okay. So, let me take a breath, and you guys all breathe with me. Here we are. It seems like we've settled our vibration so that I'm not having any feedback. There we go. Feedback. Now there's a good metaphysical thing. The truth is, we want all the feedback we can get if we can interpret it. Right? We want all the feedback that there is available, and there is always feedback. This is what I'm talking about, available spiritual support. All the time, all around us, available spiritual support, feedback. So back to Paul. The main thing that he did for us was at the conference, he told us these 3 things. And I want to tell you, okay? So it's like he told me and I'm telling you. And I want you all to embrace this and hear it and feel it. I see who you are in truth. I see what you are in truth. I see how you came to serve. You already are this true self, right? So when I or anybody else, or when Roland does it for me, when I'm seeing your true self, when I see who you are in truth, I see what you are in truth, I am looking at the Christ self of you, and I see how you came to serve. I see how you came to serve. I am looking at the part of you that is always there, whether you feel it or not, whether you are aware of it or not, that Christ self is there. It's always there, always, always there. And there's also the other part, you know. One of the things I like about Paul is he always says she instead of he for when he's talking about humankind in general. So he talks about the small self or the ego. Well, she always wants what she wants, the small self. She just wants how she wants. And then so here's the small self that's in everybody. And over here is the Christ self, which is in everybody too. Whether that part knows it or not, this part is here. That's one of the most basic messages in unity that we have, that you are this Christ self. We want to tell you over and over again. Here's the trick. It's about choosing. So after Roland and I were at this guy's talk and his presentation, and I definitely felt an energy shift, and I was really enjoying feeling like it really was the Christ self. You know, that's a beautiful feeling. We all love that. And then I was asking him, it's the gap. I was talking to Roland, it's that gap thing. Like, you know, how do I get from here to here? And he said, you can't do it. You just can't do it. You have to choose. You can't go from here to there. You have to choose what you're going to be. You actually have to choose to be the Christ. And it's okay, and you're going to choose over and over and over again. Just like in Matthew 6:24, no one can serve two masters, for a slave will either hate the one and love the other, or be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and wealth. You know, we interpret the God to be the spirit and the wealth to be maybe your human self or the world. It is in A Course of Miracles, lesson 138. Heaven is the decision I must make. In this world, heaven is a choice, because here we believe there are alternatives to choose between. We think that all things have an opposite, and what we want we choose. Okay? Creation knows no opposite, but here opposition is part of being real, right? Like the daily word today, heaven on earth. We choose. So it's not that we need to close the gap, because we never can close the gap between our small self and our Christ self. It's okay. You're always going to have that whiny blankety blank baby part of you who wants things the way she wants. I want whatever I want, right? I like things to go a certain way. I want things to be a certain way. I want it to be sunny today. You know, whatever it is I want. And then, but the Christ self is always there. So here is the spiritual truth that, and here's the spiritual support that's available for all of us. When you come here, that's what we do for each other, right? We see that inviolate Christ that's in us. It's actually a pretty huge thing. So, the last thing I want to talk about is part of the choice. The spiritual bread for the journey, the energy to carry on, you know, the lean on me, the help that we need is going to come from impartial self-observation and what I like to call the pause. You may not know this about me, but I love making up acronyms. So here is my most important spiritual tool, It's not going to be a surprise to you, but I made up a new acronym. Pause. P for pause, A for ask, U for universe, S for serve, E for everybody. Pause. So you want to pause and ask the universe, universe, how can I serve everybody? Pause. And even if you just remember pause, that's good enough. Stopping. But it's nice if you can think, well, what does that A mean? That meant ask. What does that U mean? Ask the universe. What's up, universe? Or sup, universe? How can I serve everybody? How can I serve everybody? Highest good for all concerned. Everybody. And everybody includes you. You're just as much, it's not about throwing yourself under the bus. How can I serve everybody? Let me throw myself under the bus for you. No. How can I serve everybody? It's really, really a good, catchy little thing. Now, how can I serve in this moment? How can I feel that Christ self? I really wanted to explain to you how beautiful and happy and wonderful it was to be up in the mountains in Breckenridge and to feel connected and feel like I really could feel my Christ self. And I wanted to bring that and I wanted to, somehow share that experience. And I have to laugh because I did get a little distracted by the feedback. It's almost like my brain only has this much room in it. So I am very easily distracted. I am definitely like a dog and a squirrel, or a dog looking at a squirrel. And yet, if I follow my own suggestion and pause and connect and know that I love you guys so much, that I love our community, I love the journey we're taking forever. I love Rocktober. I love the Unity Band. I love the fall. I even love the fog. And I love this opportunity that we have, all of us, to be mindful, to sit on the dock of the bay, to be wherever we are in our journey, whether it's at the bottom of the U, sitting there, not knowing what you're going to do, just watching the water until the next creativity comes out, or whether it's whatever part of that journey we're on. Let me just end with this. What I want all of us to do is take a little pause when we're listening to the next song they're all going to sing for us, and find some unexpected spiritual support in there for you. Work it so that it's a special spiritual message for you. And then afterwards, when we're all having coffee and grapes, we can tell each other what it was. Okay, let's take an offering for unity.